Pacxa, Hawaiian Financial Federal Credit Union, and HGEA present the Timmy Chang Show on ESPN Honolulu and K-High. Brought to you by IBEW Local 1186, Hawaii Pacific Health, Enjoy Snacks, Nonstop Travel, St. Louis School, and Hawaii USA Federal Credit Union.
There we go. All right. Welcome, everybody, to Ruby Tuesday, Moanalua, and to the Timmy Chang Show. And, of course, a big hand for Coach Timmy Chang. Coach, we're going to get into a lot of things today. We're going to talk some difficult questions. We'll have some, hopefully, some pretty easy answers, maybe not. Of course, we'll take everybody's text messages and phone calls, but you can text in. 808-296-1420 is the number to go ahead and contact Coach. Ask your questions. He's going to try to answer it as best as possible without giving away anything. But I do want to get to this because injuries have plagued the team on a number of weeks. Yep. But most recently, you lose Jordan Johnson. He's going to enter the transfer portal. That became public knowledge yesterday. Mm-hmm. Just your thoughts on both availability and injuries at the running back position with players kind of hurt every week. You haven't had Tylen Hines there. Could you just talk a little bit about the running back position real quick?
Yeah, that's a position that we haven't been healthy at in full goal since training camp. Even Mojo got banged up in his knee. Tylen's been dealing with an ankle injury. Jordan had his shares of problems on and off the field, and so we look to a couple different guys during New Mexico, and we'll continue to move forward with those guys.
One guy on our text message is saying, "Can we just sell out this game, please?" That'd be nice. It'd be a nice homecoming.
Sold out games are fun.
Yeah, they are.
This will be a good game with a good opponent, and Coach Brennan and his Spartans.
Does what's happening in the run game and personnel, which, by the way, Landon Sims has just been a beast. I really like watching him run the football.
I mean, that's a good young man, and he's developing. He's still coming along. We just moved him over from last year. He was playing a little bit of tight end for us, but his dad Travis, running back, teammate of yours.
Yep.
And
I send him all of Landon's highlights when I see it.
Yeah.
When Rob DeMello guys shoot highlights of the games, yep. I send him all the highlights.
He does a great job, and he just keeps working, and he keeps adding value. And one thing that his dad instilled in him is hard work and great work ethic, and you cannot have enough guys like that on your team.
Absolutely. So back to what I was originally going to ask: is the pass game affected at what's going on with the run game? I know we haven't had a really good run game. Obviously, it has a lot. There's a lot of improvement that could be happening at the run game position. But what is going on with that? Is it affecting the pass game?
I think everything affects. I think there's a balance to everything, right? And when we talked before the season, and what we wanted to be and how we wanted to be, it probably does. It's probably not showing in the percentages and the numbers as you break down as a coach and stats, but. It's part of it. We got to deal with it. We're rolling with it. But I tell you what, the pass game has come really full circle from where we were a year ago, and even till today, as I just got done watching film with the guys again, how far our quarterback has come, how far our receivers have come, and so we're still working on it, and we look to improve this week.
Braden Shager was leading the country in passing at one point, but you guys were a game ahead. Now the rest of the country, after the bye week, has kind of caught up. Braden Shager still third in the nation in passing. That has a lot to be said about what you guys are doing, at least in the pass game.
Yeah, sure. He's really getting into a rhythm. I thought it would take about 6 games, and usually takes about 6 games for us to kind of click and start being on all cylinders. Right after that UNLV game, that was a great bye week for us, and I think he's just going to kind of getting more and more comfortable into it, and even just keeping it simple. I think as we go talk back about the New Mexico game, I think he reverted back to some of the old things and some of the old ways, but I look to him to be better and steadily improve as we go.
I've said it before, this team is still learning. Hard to perfect things when you're still learning. Obviously, there's a couple of processes, learning, knowing, and then perfecting. And these guys are all still in the learning phase. Let's get into let's go back a couple of weeks. Let's talk about it. I know it's hard to relive it, but let's just go talk about it because we haven't had a show since San Diego State. And so it's nice to be able to just take a quick look. There were some good things, but let's talk about some of the things that weren't so good. From the beginning, 3 tip passes and a block punt in this one.
Yeah.
That really hurt.
We talked about starting fast, and we were in a really good spot to start fast. I think that's my child.
It's okay. Clearly doesn't want to see San Diego State highlights.
Yeah, she wasn't happy with the block passes and the block punt. But I tell you what, we thought that we would start fast, and that was not the case. And before you know it, you're down 17-0, and now you got to go back to work. And so that's just how it started.
But let's take a look at some defensive highlights because there were some bright spots. Now, San Diego State only was able to put up 157 yards rushing and 3 touchdowns, and you guys held the Aztecs out of the end zone for half of the second quarter and allowed only a field goal in the third quarter. You guys, at one point, with 17 unanswered, you guys were looking pretty good.
Yeah, the defense did a great job. They had their number and allowed us to get back in the game in the second quarter, and I think we took the lead in the third. And that was very positive. I think the offense started to click, the defense started to click, and we started playing pretty good up until that fourth quarter where we had a couple costly turnovers inside there, and put our defense in a tough position.
We talked about Braden Shager just a few minutes ago, but he continued to put up the yardage. Shager threw for a career high in this game, 427 yards in the loss to San Diego State. His 4th 300-plus yard game this season, and in the process became the 10th quarterback in program history to reach 5,000 career yards passing. He needs just 223 yards to surpass Drew Brown for number 8 all time. I mean, he's doing things correctly. How much of the time? And he's putting up that kind of yards.
I would say the turn kind of, New Mexico State, going back to New Mexico State, he started to play in the second half as we were down 17-0 and won that game 2017. And then going on the road to UNLV, there were some just close missed opportunities going into the bye week, into the San Diego State game. We felt really good at where we were at and started making some of these, just minor corrections and getting on the same page. Quarterback, receiver, offensive line, running back, tight ends. They started all getting on the same page, and then it's starting to pop a little bit. You're starting to see a little bit of some fast scoring, some drives where we just continuously move the ball down the field, and unfortunately in the last 2 games, what I look at the offense is just we're just kind of killing ourselves a little bit, maybe with turnovers or just a job here or a job there on our 111th, as we talk about 11 guys doing their job. There's some type of breakdown that stops us from getting in the end zone, and so or giving the ball over back to the other team. And so if we stop doing that and control that, I think again, these guys are developing and they're coming along, and so it's starting to click a little bit, and that's the positive.
Let me bring up the end of the game. You decided to kick a field goal instead of going for a touchdown. You apologized in your post-game press conference. In my opinion, you did not need to do that. I know that you did it, but you did not need to do that, in my opinion, my humble opinion. It was a 47-yarder. Matthew Shipley made it. It would then lead to an onside kick. In my opinion, a field goal at that point from that distance is a chance you got to take. Mm-hmm. You kind of know what you have to get from that point on. You kick a field goal, then you know you need the onside kick. If you get that, then you know you need a touchdown. Why did you apologize?
It's for all the fans. It's all the fans and all the fans that believe in us. that want us to succeed and really want us to do well. And so,
Was it more apology for having lost, or was it apology for having called a field goal?
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit of both, a little bit of both. And so kicking the field goal at that point just puts us up by 7. And so that was the apology.
Okay, got it. Thank you for clarifying. And again, I'll fight to the very end for you, saying that you didn't need to do that for making the call. You're the coach.
Well, it's the right thing to do when you're playing to win the game.
Got it.
And,
okay.
And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to win the game.
All right. We want to tell everybody Hawaiian Financial Federal Credit Union is your one-stop community credit union for all your money needs for life. Open your account today. Time now, folks, for one of our favorite times. It's time for random questions. All right, Coach. What toppings do you like on your pizza?
You know what? I'm an old school pepperoni guy.
Okay.
But
like do you go double pep, or do you just go single pep, double cheese?
No, my wife is a meat lover. She loves the meat lover, so we usually go with that. But you know what? I kind of didn't grow up eating Hawaiian pizza, which is just a pineapple on the pizza.
You like pineapple on pizza?
It actually is pretty good.
Okay.
It's actually pretty good.
There's a lot of people that don't like that.
I know, and they call it Hawaiian too because we got good pineapples here. I get it, but it's not Hawaiian pizza. But I like pineapples on pizza.
Okay. All right. So, we got a lot of questions in the queue, and we'd like for you to keep them coming. 808-296-1420. We are going to take a quick break. When we come back, we are going to talk about New Mexico. We also have a special guest in the house. Receiver Pelli Ashlock is going to join my brother in the third segment, and we will talk to him about everything that's going on with him. We'll get to know him a little bit better. All that and more right here on The Timmy Chang Show.
This is the Timmy Chang Show from Ruby Tuesday, Moanalua. Presented by ESPN Honolulu and K-High.
All right, welcome back to the Timmy Chang Show. Thank you so much for joining us on ESPN Honolulu. Also on, we are streaming live on Twitter, Facebook, what am I missing? YouTube, Twitch. We're on all those platforms streaming live before every home game on a Wednesday. And you can catch the TV broadcast of this show on Thursday on K-High, the KH12 family of stations. All right, we've got some questions, and you can ask yours at 808-296-1420. Coach, this person has asked, it's Harry, he says, have read a bunch of online comments stating that Timmy Chang should seek out June Jones or Nick Rolovich for guidance, assistance with quarterbacks, running backs, and wide receivers. Any thoughts, opinions, and comments? I can say, before you start, I think Dan Morrison is such a good guy, and he's been with you for the last 3 weeks. Yeah,
it was sad losing Dan. He was with us in training camp, and he does such a great job. I mean, the guy. There's a picture of and a video of all the guys when we're throwing routes on there and just kind of finishing up. That Dan had to leave mid practice and leave us, and every player that was there went up to Dan and just kind of shook his hand all in a row. And I know they enjoyed to have him the last couple of weeks and leaving from the after UNLV to the bye week to San Diego State to New Mexico, and he's been a big help. Mm-hmm. With JJ and Rolo. Right now I think Coach Rolo is he's joining Dan. They're working on their XFL USFL kind of deal that's kind of swinging their way, and JJ's Coach Jones is around. Get to text with him back and forth, mm-hmm. And he sends a lot of positivity and good positive messages, and so I get to pick his brain every once in a while and see where we can improve. Those are good guys to be able to pick their brain for sure. I pick Sam Choi's brain all the time. No, I know. I mean, there's a lot of wisdom with experience and the guys that have done it and gone through it, and so really all we're doing is duplicating those years of the past, but as people know, and I want people to know that these kids are playing. They're playing their hearts out, and right now it's just taking some time. This is another question, and it's kind of a loaded one. It says, Coach, people are frustrated. How are you going to turn this ship around, and will you be evaluating every aspect of the football program? Yeah, for sure. I frustrated. I don't think anybody's going to be more frustrated than me, but I'm living it, and I'm doing it every day. And so, but the thing about it is that there's a focus. There's understanding of where your guys are at. They're going out there and competing. They're the ones that got to go do it. And so getting them ready is the focus, getting them prepared, getting them the things that they need, and all the attention and all the details and all the wonderful stuff. I mean, it takes a lot. It takes a lot to win games. Games are not easily just won, and you just show up with 11 guys. You got to have the right 11 guys. You got to have the right locker room. You got to have the right things going on. And you got to put these guys in position. They got to know what they're doing, and they got to go out there and execute. And so it's a whole combination when you talk about aspect. For sure, everything's getting evaluated, but we're in the mix right now. And so looking at anything else, it's just focused on the next game. All right, Scott has a question. We were going to get to it anyway, and so I'm going to go ahead and ask for Scott. What is it about the first quarter for this football team that has been such a problem? You know what? I guess it's, you're not starting fast. So if you're not starting fast, you're not executing. If you're not executing, why aren't you executing? And it can when you're an athlete, okay, a student athlete, playing high level FBS Division I football, there could be a number of factors on why we're not all on the same page, or one guy does this job, one guy does. These guys in the locker room have to know the accountability. The coaches have to know to put them in position. You got to be able to, you might practice one thing, they come out with something else, or here come the new plays, here come the adjustments early on, and so there can be a whole bunch of combinations. The fact of the matter, we're not executing, and that's what needs to happen. You got to execute and do your job, and again, coaches, we got to put them in the best situation. I know you know the numbers, but I'm going to go ahead and say it anyway. I know a lot of people don't want to hear it, but Hawaii's actually been outscored 147-64 in the first half since Scott brought it up.
including 76-16 in the first quarter. UH has been shut out in the first quarter in 4 straight games, outscored 48-0, and have trailed at the half in 6 of 7 games. Now, that streak actually came to an end against New Mexico, and so New Mexico they've just go ahead and say it. They've lost 14 straight conference games. They were 2-4 overall, 0-2 in the Mountain West coming in to the matchup. But against New Mexico, you put together a really nice drive. 4 plays, 75 yards. First to Stephen McBride's short pass, then to Jonah Pinoque for a first down and 8-yard gain, then back to McBride, who turned a short hitch into a 52-yard sprint down the field. He is absolutely amazing. And then a 12-yard touchdown pass to McBride actually went through the hands of Pelli Ashlock, but McBride kept his eye on the ball. First quarter touchdown in 5 games. Just your thoughts at that point of what was going on.
Yeah, we went. Just thinking about our first drive, our first 2 drives. I believe we ran the ball through a under. We got tackled, had to punt. They came back and scored, and then we threw an interception. And really there's we watched the film. We talked to quarterback, we talked to Braden, and he's like, yeah, I should have gone down here, and we get a completion, probably a first down. And so he makes a mistake there, and then we just we gave up 14 points, and then we come back and really kind of answer in 4 plays, and that's kind of the capability, I guess. I kind of seen it. I've seen it in the past 2 games, the last 2 games with San Diego State and New Mexico. It's getting that quick strike, moving the ball type of deal, or it's throwing underneath and moving the ball progressively down the field. Now it's about making them count, I think, and just being on pace and on cue. But I guess again with the first quarter woes, it's just us having to execute faster and doing it off the start. But it's part of our growing pains right now.
While there have been some close comebacks in recent games, it seemed that this game stayed out of reach a bit. Pelli Ashlock capped off a 10-play, 75-yard drive at the end of the second quarter with a really nice 18-yard touchdown catch from Shager. Bows were down 28-14 at the half. Hawaii really couldn't find the end zone again until the end of the game with a short pass to McBride, 43-21 or 42-21, the final against New Mexico. Hawaii is now officially, this is hard to hear because I'm a fan and I support the entire program. Last place hurts in the Mountain West, doesn't it?
Sure. Yep, it does.
How do you turn this thing around?
You got to work hard, man. You got to go back to work, and you got to work, and you got to wake up, and you got to have a good attitude, and we got to go back to the grind. It's just the little details, It's getting the locker room right. It's making sure we got the right guys around. It's what we really did this week is we had probably our toughest practices. We had our toughest practices, and really it was just kind of getting back to just being mentally tough, challenging the guys. Really, they responded really well, but we got to coach them hard, man. And the thing about it, when I after these practices, they want to be coached hard, and that's a good sign. That's a good sign for a program. But that's what you got to do. You got to go back to work. You got to put the right guys out there, and you coach them hard, and you got to put them in a great position, and we got to execute.
This text message says, "Hey, Coach, win or lose, Hawaii is my team. You're the coach, and I know you coach to win. It's been challenging this year, some growing pains. I'm sure it's been frustrating. What has been the thing that is keeping the guys together in the trenches?" Just real quick.
Yeah, the love for each other. The love for each other. I think what's happening is, they got a lot of love for each other, but what we have to do is we got to make sure we're detailed. Sometimes these guys are learning from a fly. And that's part of it.
Okay, we're about to take a quick timeout, but first, random questions. Do you have a favorite dream car?
No, not really.
No?
No.
Not a Lamborghini with the doors?
No.
Not an Escalade?
No, I don't. I you know what? Fast and Furious kind of came out when I was in high school.
Okay.
And one of them souped up Hondas looked pretty cool back in the day, but
yeah.
But that
dropped with the nitro.
No, but you know what? We have the good people at Mercedes have that's my car right now. I got a nice Mercedes from.
Okay, there you go.
Mercedes Hawaii.
Oh yeah, shameless plug. Good job, Mercedes Hawaii. All right, when we come back, Mark Veneri is going to be joining us with our special guest, Pelli Ashlock. Don't go away, everybody. This is the Timmy Chang Show.
This is the Timmy Chang Show from Ruby Tuesday, Moanalua. Presented by ESPN Honolulu and K-High.
All right, welcome back to Ruby Tuesdays. We thank you for joining us on ESPN Honolulu. And don't forget, the TV broadcast of this show airs on Thursday at 6 p.m. on K-High. All right, our next special guest has been catching, see what I did there? Catching national attention for his soft hands and quick routes. Pelli Ashlock was named the Mountain West Freshman of the Week back-to-back weeks to start the season. He currently leads all FBS freshmen in receptions with 50, in receiving yards with 572, in receiving yards per game with 71.5, and he's tied for second with 5 receiving touchdowns. He is the team leader in receptions and receiving in 5 of the team's 8 games. We welcome Pelli Ashlock, joining my brother broadcast partner on all UH football games on ESPN Honolulu. Here is Mark Veneri.
Thanks, Johnny. I'm joined with Pelli Ashlock. I mean, you heard all the accolades, but I want to get this out of the way. I don't know if anybody knows this in the room here, but Pelli is of Tongan descent.
Yes, man.
So
yes,
I
sir.
wanted
Yes,
to kind of touch on that. You're Polynesian.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Big T's, big T's.
So who's Polynesian in the family?
That's my mama. My mama is full Tongan. She came from Tonga when I think when she was about 19, honestly, and then after that, not too shortly after, I came after. So, yep, big T's.
Big T. Should we give it to them? There we go. All right. Pofele, you heard one of the accolades. You're one of the first Hawaii football players, freshman, to start the season with back-to-back 100 yards. I mean, hearing that, how does that make you feel?
It feels good to do it for the state of Hawaii and do it for this team. You know what I mean? I really love this team and a team that took a chance from me, especially for my recruitment. So it's all been well, and definitely doing it over here is no place better. So,
well, you've been racking up the yards. You're over 500 yards receiving. That's good for 35th in the country currently. You redshirted last year. You did some growing development. How did you feel as an individual receiver in your maturation process and understanding the offense?
Like you was just saying, understanding the offense, that was the biggest thing for us, or especially for a lot of players that I know that come from the mainland. It's just also that learning curve. That's the biggest thing that we had to overcome, and having good mentors in our room, especially the local boys bringing us in with all the love and knowledge that they have on the offense as well. Brought so much power to me. So Koala Nishigaya and Tama, they helped me out a lot with this offense. So much love to them, and much love to all the local boys for sure.
Well, you've talked about the local boys. There's also another guy from the mainland, Stephen McBride.
What's that?
You and Stephen McBride, top 3 in the country as a dynamic duo, so to say.
Yes, sir.
But you guys are ranked in the top 3 in the country. Stephen's ranked 13th. In receiving yards, you're 35th.
Yes, sir.
But how much have you leaned on Stephen, and how much do you guys kind of gather the energy when it comes to game day?
Me and Steven, we've grown a lot together, honestly, and like we were just saying, in this offense learning, that's the biggest thing. So when both going through the process of learning this offense, it was a lot of quiet between both of us, you know what I mean, actually trying to lock in and just trying to see what it is. But as we grow and as we keep going throughout the games, we actually come to each other and tell each other, like, this is something about us. This is, like, you know what I mean? We have to take control for this offense and make plays. So that's something that we take in and just go with. So I lean on him a big amount for sure, especially for him being a bigger man, bigger role model for me. And
now you also, have the ability to make plays. You mentioned guys like Koala Nishigaya. You mentioned Tamatoa Mokiata Malala, and we talked back there for quite some time about the offense. How much fun has it been in this offense, learning from Coach Timmy Chang, learning from the guys who've been around this offense for quite some time? How much fun is it for you?
Very much fun, especially being a receiver coming out here, getting thrown the ball to you. I mean, countless of times, that's the biggest thing in our offense, and that's the biggest thing that we want as a receiver. So brings so much energy and so much and love for football, especially in this offense, you know what I mean? So that's the biggest thing, and I love it. It brings so much excitement. So
okay, so how many coverages have you learned over the time of the last 5-6 games that you've been playing? How many coverages have you seen? We talked about Pofele and I back here were talking for quite some time about some of the offense and coverages and some of the things that you've been seeing defensively.
Yeah.
How much film work, how much time? Obviously, it takes a lot of time to learn all this stuff. But how many coverages have you just kind of dissected over this time?
Film work was the biggest thing, and man, every single coverage there was, I honestly had to figure out and honestly dissect, starting with the film. But so every single coverage that's been thrown at me so far this season I actually had to go through and watch the film and actually take time to look at and figure out what they were doing. So that's the big thing.
And I've seen, you lean on, Coach Timmy Chang. You've leaned on this past week. I've seen Coach Morrison come up to you quite a bit.
Yeah.
You guys had some smiles and exchanges. You get the best of both worlds with having a guy like Coach Morrison and, of course, Coach Timmy Chang. How much have you learned from them?
Everything about football right now. To this point of taking my game to the next level, high school and college and NFL is all different things. So them just looking at my game from high school and taking to how it is now, it's been very special. And Coach Chang has did a lot for me, as well as in this offense and learning it. So, and Coach Dan as well, Coach Chang bringing Coach Dan for us has been a big thing for us too. So it's also been very awesome for me to have mentors like them.
And how's been speaking of quarterbacks, Coach Dan worked with quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Of course, Coach Timmy is a quarterback. I heard he can rip it at practice still. But speaking of quarterbacks, working with a guy like Braden Shager, you spoke very highly of him when we were talking a little bit earlier. Mm-hmm. What's been the relationship like with him?
It's been really good. Like again, off season was the biggest thing for us. To get closer, especially for me being in development, not really being him for really that long in the year. So we took off season very serious. It's just going not in football, but outside of football as well. So just knowing him, knowing how he is as a person outside of football and everything else was the biggest thing for us to grow as a brothership for this offense. So it helped out very much.
Now, moving forward, obviously we got to ask a tough question. I know we were talking about this.
Yeah.
What can you in particular and this receiving corps do to turn things around for the next couple of weeks?
Preparation is our biggest thing for us right now. I'll say how we approach practice and how we take it. This week hasn't been really the easiest for us. It's actually been very, very hard for us.
Can you dive into that a little bit? How's practice been this week?
It's definitely been, for us coming out for our offense, one thing that we just dissected about ourselves during our break was how we start and how we come out, and we just dissected that we started off slow, and that wasn't really something that we took pride in, especially for the offense that we are. We would like to come out there and put 7 on the board and take away from the defense, So our thing of coming out is just starting fast and coming out there with some juice. So we had implemented sled pushes for every position. So come out there with some mental toughness.
So there was some sled pushing this week?
Yeah, man.
How was that?
Some of the positions don't really do it. So, you know what I mean? And it's something for us as well to take for blocking, you know what I mean? So it's just all about how you take it. And again, mental toughness is our biggest thing, so got to go through it.
And everybody took responsibility this week. You talked about, these guys in the room are hungry to get that victory.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. So I think everybody in the team has definitely took great action towards how we switch it up at practice, and we're all bought into how we're going. So should be good trajectory going on.
All right, so we got to ask you, because we've seen a couple of highlights. You got the glasses on before the game. You got the swag. I know it's a huge thing. You look good, you feel good, you play good.
Most definitely.
What's the swag going to be this week against San Jose State?
Honestly, I think I'm going to go back to the roots. I haven't really, I hate really saying it like this, but I haven't really worn my ski mask in a minute, so I might have to go back to the ski mask before a pregame, and I don't know, just come out there and go through the same pregame that I've usually been. It hasn't really held up too wrong, so I should keep going with how I'm going. So,
what's the biggest motivation still yet to come for yourself?
Biggest motivation, honestly, when I think about motivation, I just think about my family. Doing it all the way over here in Hawaii for my people back home. So, just keep them in mind, and hopefully, I'm making them proud as much as I can.
What about the people for Hawaii?
Bring the state football back. Really, bring it back how it was back in the day, and back in the Aloha Stadium back days. So, bring it to TC Chin,
Yes,
so
sir.
That's the biggest thing.
Guys, Pelli Ashlock, one of the top receivers for Hawaii. We'll be back with more of the Timmy Chang Show.
This is the Timmy Chang Show from Ruby Tuesday, Moanalua. Presented by ESPN Honolulu and K-High.
All right, back with the coach, Timmy Chang. Keep your questions coming. We're going to continue to answer them. 808-296-1420 is the number to text in or message in. We're also on streaming on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. And you can catch the TV broadcast of this show on K-High Thursday night at 6. Coach, love the practices this week. Keep coaching the young men hard. Adversity and pressure builds character. Go Warriors. That's from Sean.
Yeah, thanks, Sean. Yep.
Yeah, good
100%.
stuff.
100%.
We want to do something, don't we? We want to.
Yeah, no, it's my son Levi's birthday today.
Happy birthday to you. Woo! Happy birthday to you. Woo! Happy birthday, dear Levi. Happy birthday to you. Yeah, Levi. All right, part of the Chang gang.
That's pretty cool.
Okay, that's really awesome.
That's
Happy
pretty
birthday, Levi. Okay, this week, homecoming for the Rainbow Warriors. San Jose State comes to town 3-5 overall, 2-2 in the Mountain West Conference this season. And this season, he's the preseason Mountain West Conference Offensive Player of the Year with 1,738 yards passing, 11 touchdowns to only 3 picks. He had this to say about his homecoming for the first time playing against his former team.
I've talked to Coach Brendan, and he kind of harped on just worrying about just the coaching and just focusing on the game plan and let everything, like all the outside noise, just ignore it and you just focus on the game, and that's all that pretty much matters. Going back home is going to be totally different. I mean, I don't really know if they're going to boo me or whatever, because at the end of the day, I'm just going to block it out. I'm just going to be focused on my game and what I need to do to, get my team in the right spot to win. I know that it's not about me coming back home. It's a team game, and it's about the team going to Hawaii and bringing the Dick Tomey Trophy home. I feel like it's better playing at Hawaii this year because it's my last year. It's my senior year. It's my last time as I'm going to play them in my college career, and it's good to play them back home in front of my family.
Okay, so I know that our TV audience and our radio audience heard that. The folks here didn't hear the whole thing, but you got the gist of it. He's a good young man. He's done his best, and he's playing for a pretty darn good coach too. Coach Brennan has done a lot of good things there. They're struggling a little bit this year, but they come to town for your homecoming.
Yeah, great young man, and playing for a great coach, like you said. Their record kind of really doesn't show what type of team they are. They start off with USC. They started off with another ranked opponent in Oregon State. And they played Air Force. They lost to Boise in the fourth quarter. Lost at Toledo. Those are the 5 losses, but they're starting to put it together, and they look really good. And so it's gonna be a good game. It'll be a tough game. Our boys got to come to play.
We're going to take a timeout in about a minute, but another question is, if you could change one thing this season, what would it be? And maybe a minute is too short to answer that, but if you could, real quick.
If I could change one thing, I kind of, I was just talking to your brother a little bit. It's part of it. It's part of the process. Everything happens for a reason, and so this whole process, this is it. You go through it, and it makes you who you are. The adversity builds character, and I want that for our team. I want that for us, and so when things start to happen the right way, it's all worth it. And so, and that's what I truly believe. And then it's just the grind, it's the work, and it's putting it in, and really we just get our guys ready.
And the good thing is there's still a bunch of games left to play. So if there are going to be changes made, there's still time to make them this season.
Yeah. I mean, we definitely changed the way practice happened this week, and that was good. That's a good thing. That's a positive, and and my guys want to be coached hard. And then I found that out, and I'm going to coach them hard. I'm going to love them hard.
All right. We're going to take another timeout, and when we come back, we'll answer more of your questions. And we've got the Enjoy Snacks giveaway. This is the Timmy Chang Show.
This is the Timmy Chang Show from Ruby Tuesday, Moanalua. Presented by ESPN Honolulu and K-High.
All right, final segment of the Timmy Chang Show for the next 2 weeks. Hawaii will obviously host San Jose State this week, and then they'll go on the road to Reno, and then we'll have a show right after that. A couple of questions from Don. It says, in terms of substitution, when are they going to start sending in the right personnel? There's times when they'll be too heavy on one side of the field and vice versa.
Is that talking about
I'm not
having too many people on the field at one time?
I'm not sure about that.
Because on defense, there's a couple times that
Substitution?
we're kind of waiting to see. It's a personnel thing, right? If they're going to play big, if they're going to play small, we're going to throw the right type of guys in there. No, for sure, Don. I mean, yeah, the personnel matters, and getting the right guys in and the guys that can execute it matters too. So two parts to that question.
So because that question brought up something in my mind, there seemed to be this past week a lot of overloads and then runs or plays where the quarterback will draw it back to the left. Is that just a scheme thing that we can't seem to handle, or what happened there?
Yeah, you might be talking about sprint draws that occurred during the game. I think they scored on one, had a couple explosives on another, acting like they're sprinting out in protection. and then handing the ball off on a draw, and the ball goes back that way. It's just being gap sound and really just being in your spot. And if it does spit out, you have guys that should be back there to take care of them. And so one did get out, and it was the result was 7 points in the first half.
Here's another question. Is Braden working through his progressions? Is he always looking long? Is that what he's told to do, or is he not working through it?
Yeah, he's a master of distributing the ball. That's what his job is. And that's what the great ones should do. They should distribute the ball to their playmakers. Depending on design and what his eyes are going to be, and what is told to him, he's going to work in that deal. I tell you this, okay? He had 3 interceptions this past game. Probably all 3. He looks at it and it's like, I probably should have just came off and looked and have distributed the ball in another place, which we originally talk about. And so he's working through some of these things, but he's doing a lot better. As you guys can see, he's top 3 in the country in passing, and that's by design. I think if not having these the growth issues, I think he's probably the top passer in the country in my opinion. If we can just sustain and be on the same page. And so, like you said, the last 5 games, I'm excited to watch these guys play, man. I mean, I was last year about those guys. I felt like we didn't have enough bullets in the chamber. We have the bullets. Now it's about executing and putting it together, and playing hard and playing discipline, playing tough. That's the thing that didn't settle with me as we watched the New Mexico game. We weren't tough, and we need to play tougher. And that's what I need to. That's what I, as a coach, as a head coach, if we were just one thing I can get back is I need to make my guys tougher and mentally tougher. These guys are going to stand up and they're going to puff their chests out. But that's not the type of tough I'm talking about. I'm talking about when the chips are on the line and things get hard and they're adverse. Who's going to stand up? Who's going to make a play? And so that's what I'm waiting to see. I had a good week of practice. My guys responded, and I'm excited to watch. I'm excited to watch them play against their old teammate.
I want to know how you would grade yourself as a play caller.
Oh, I don't know. I didn't know there was a grading play calling scale.
What would you say? I mean, are you happy? Are you disappointed? What would you say about your own play calling? I mean, you've done a lot in positions. Now you're calling the offense. You're the head coach. You're trying to correct the quarterbacks.
I tell you what, there's every week that I've gone and I come in the offensive staff room. There's something that me and the coaches kind of all get on this page, and there's another growth step for us. You know what I mean? There's another step in the right direction. Hey, we should be doing. Hey, this is how we're doing it. So there's a learning curve for us too, and there's a learning curve for me. So no grade for myself, but definitely a growth mindset.
Okay. That's great. Thank you. I appreciate you being honest with that stuff. Okay, here's another one. I know that many of the defensive players are close friends with Chevin, but they need to put the friendship aside for 3 hours and go after him. We're thankful for all that Chevin has done for UH football, but this Saturday he's wearing a Spartans jersey and not a Warriors jersey. Save the hugs for after the game. I see Pelli laughing. It's pretty true, right? No friends when no friends.
No comment.
Oh, no, that's perfect. Okay, great. Whew. Let's see. Here's one you'll like. Chevin was born in the year Timmy graduated from St. Louis. Did you know? Now you do.
And he's a former Crusader. That's a good young man. That is a really good young man. And nothing but positive things to say about him and how he handles his business. And I'll be honest with you, man. I mean, he left this program. And in all honesty, I don't know if I'd be here if he didn't leave, and things happened the way they did.
Yeah.
And so that's the honest truth.
Yeah.
But through it all, he's remained a humble, a great young man, and that's high character.
Save the hugs for after the game.
For sure.
Save the hugs for after the game. Okay. Enjoy snacks. Giveaway time. We're almost out of time, so let's do it.
The questions are not as hard as picking this thing, I tell you that.
Of course, and there are questions about schemes here while he's picking this. I just want to let you know, we don't talk about schemes and plays. San Jose State is listening, and we don't want to give away anything. Okay, here we go. Our winner of this, can you hold it up, please, for me? Coach Chang. There are a lot of Changs. Do you know this person? No? There are a lot of Changs here.
No.
So this Enjoy Snacks basket goes to Janet Chang. Where's Janet? Are you related to Timmy? All right, everybody, 6 p.m. kickoff this week at the Clarence T.C. Ching Complex. We want to thank everybody that came out tonight. Again, you can watch the TV broadcast on K-High. Thank you to Coach Chang and everybody you see on the bottom of your screen, to Matt Chon, Pelli Ashlock, and, of course, Mark Veneri. And make sure you get out. Homecoming, 6 p.m. kickoff, 3 p.m. There's a party at the Les. You guys can enjoy the party. Coach, good luck.
Thank you.
All right, another great show. We'll do this again in 2 weeks, but until then, go Bows.